All right, Bothell City Council is back from break. We are on to AB 18-096, which is subject to action to consider exercise of repurchase option under development agreement with Bothell Hotel LLC. City Manager, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I'm just going to briefly walk you through the staff report that was provided to you. This is with regards to action to consider exercise of repurchase option under the development agreement with Bothell Hotel LLC. On April 6, 2016, the city and Bothell Hotel LLC entered into a purchase and sale agreement for the city-owned property currently referred to as Lot 8, which is right out here at the remaining City Hall property. There's a portion along 183rd and then a portion along Bothell Everett Highway. After some amendments, about almost a year later, on March 10th, 2017, the purchase and sale agreement was signed by both parties, and a development agreement was signed along with that. The development agreement, which is dated March 16, 2017, basically lays out the expectations that the city has. This is a very carefully negotiated development agreement, and we're able to do this when the city owns property and sells property. We're able to negotiate a development agreement and basically provide guidelines or expectations to the developer or owner or the purchaser of the property. When a private party purchases a private piece of property, that's outside the city's purview, and whatever can be built is based on zoning and code, and that is between those two parties. This is unique because the city did purchase multiple parcels in the downtown and had the opportunity to sell those and have the city's vision included as part of the development agreement, so it would help guide the development of the downtown. And I think that's an important distinction based in comparison to some of the other buildings that are being built and other sales that occurred in the downtown. On November 17th, we brought an extension to the council. As part of that development agreement, there were very specific dates, again, going back to the vision of the downtown. And one of the visions that the council had when the downtown sub-area plan was passed was to make things happen in the downtown, to see results. When the city became a master developer, the idea was to really spur development. And the council was very careful to negotiate development agreements with the intent to build and to avoid opportunities for individuals to purchase property, hold those properties, which would have negatively impacted the synergy and this energy of the downtown sub-area plan. So very specific timelines were put in all of the development agreements that were negotiated between the city and the different developers that purchased the different properties. In November 2017, we did bring an extension forward for this particular development agreement. The developer did need additional time. The council at that time did grant that 6-month extension. That extended the dates to initiate construction and to complete this project. And in that extension, the developer was expected to begin construction on the foundation by June 15th, 2018, which was last Friday. As of today, the developer has not completed the approval and permitting process necessary or to obtain the permits to be able to commence the construction date or be able to commence the construction by the date of June 15th. And as you can see, no work has begun on the property. Over the past year, city staff has met repeatedly with the developer. We have regular meetings with them. There's been a tremendous amount of communication. We certainly understand some of the struggles and challenges that the developer has faced. And I think we've worked really collaboratively with the developer to work with them through that process, including some redesigns. Certainly it's a very difficult market to build. Prices are going up exponentially. We understand all that, and I believe that we've been working collaboratively with the developer over the past year to support them in this project. As part of just pieces of information, the property is contaminated by the ultra custom cleaner site. That was made very clear in the purchase and sale agreement and development agreement. It's very, very clear language. The property was purchased as is, and there's processes and expectations that came along with purchasing the property that is contaminated, and we've been working with them on that as well. So we're at the point today that the developer has missed a critical deadline, and so I'm requesting direction from the council as to next steps. So my job is to follow council direction. It is to enforce the agreements that the council has signed or directed me to sign, and to ensure that I am protecting the city and the community. And so the purpose of this item is to inform you that, in fact, that construction date has been missed, and to request direction as to next steps. If the council were to choose to exercise its option to repurchase the property, that would be direction to me, and you can also provide me with other direction if you so choose. I put some additional information in the staff report as well with regards to requests to utilize lots E, F, and G as part of the construction staging, and just some additional information so you had sort of a background of what's happened over the last couple of months. And I'm happy to answer any questions, and our attorney is here as well, Shannon Skinner, if you have any questions for legal counsel that's been actually negotiated this original purchase and sale agreement, the development agreement, assisted us with the amendment, and is assisting me today.
All right, thank you. Is there any questions from council? Seeing none, is there a motion?
I motion to exercise the repurchase option under the development agreement with a closing date of July 20th, 2018. This closing date is suggested because there are 2 more council meetings before then. The last one is July 17th. That gives the developer an opportunity to come to the city with an offer to extend, and we would have time to negotiate terms of an extension. As part of the negotiation, we know that the Lot O developer paid a fee, and expectation is that a fee would be part of this negotiation. So we invite you to initiate that discussion. I feel confident in staff and know that their recommendations and actions are based on council direction. Council has directed the city manager in our desire to look out for the taxpayers' interests in the sales of property. Additionally, I'm not interested in them using E, F, and G as staging because we desire to sell E, F, and G.
I will second that motion. Is there any discussion on the motion? Councilmember McAuliffe.
Thank you. I want to explain why I will be voting no on the motion. I've been really impressed with what I've heard of the quality of the 360 hotels. I also have not had opportunity to really hear from them of the challenges that they have faced in meeting this timeline. I feel that this is almost too short of a notice for repurchasing, and so I cannot support that. You know, the sales tax generated by a hotel like this in downtown Bothell is critical to our city. I would like to give them the opportunity to at least come forward and see if we can't make this become a reality. So I will be voting no.
All right, any further discussion on the motion? Yeah, oh, sorry, you can speak to your motion. Sorry about that.
So I'd like to give a little history. As the city manager summarized, they've already been given 1 extension. They agreed to that extension and failed to meet their own deadlines. They've been unwilling to discuss amendment for fee, even though we told them at the time of the first amendment that that would be our expectation if there were a request for a second amendment. And so for those reasons, I made my motion.
All right, any further discussion on the motion? Councilmember Olson?
I have to agree with the deputy mayor. I think when you are doing these types of projects, that you really get that one opportunity to develop your makeup schedule and say, you know, you acknowledge that, okay, my original wasn't good enough, but here's what it takes to accomplish what I said originally. And not meeting that deadline that they set, their own schedule, the second time, I think that just is inexcusable, and we need to have them come back and make their own extension with a fee opportunity available to the city.
Okay, any further discussion on the motion? Councilmember McNeil?
Thank you. We heard a lot of testimony tonight about the amount of work that has gone into this project. And we've sat up here and we've made decisions on multiple properties. As long as I've been on council, we've given extensions to certain properties. And I'm super hopeful that that we find a way to work through this. I know there's a lot of time and effort on the city's part involved in this. I happen to be in construction, so I know what it takes to do these types of projects. I know there's a lot of time and effort on developers' part, so I'm super hopeful that we can find a way to come together to make this happen. I think it would be a great thing for Bothell, but at the same time, we need to make sure that we are looking out for the taxpayers. That is what our role is as council members. So I'm hopeful something will come of this. I'm hoping that that the group will come forward and meet with the city manager and figure out a way to negotiate an extension so that we can see this project through. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to speak to the motion? No, you good? Good, okay. I just have a couple things to add. So I think I would listen to that tape again if you didn't hear it, but the motion was, the closing date of July 20th, I believe it was. And that does give the opportunity for the developer to come back to the city to negotiate an amendment. But I think, we drew a line in the sand, it was blown past, and we're not going to do this again. So I hope that is extremely clear. We are trying to show some leniency by saying go ahead and have a little more time. The other part of it too is that we have structured these agreements since I've been here to make sure that the development happens on time. And it's not just one project operating by itself, but it's multiple projects. And to have one project say they need to encumber another piece of property that's actually one of the crown jewels of the downtown, the EF and G and Lot D, those are huge economic drivers for this city. And for that to be even part of the discussion is just a no-go, in my opinion. But I think we've made ourselves clear. I hope that the council supports this motion, and that I hope we move forward. If Bothell Hotel LLC wants to operate in the city of Bothell and continue on with this investment, I encourage them to contact the city within the next few days to start that conversation, because I think we've done our due diligence. I think we've given you opportunities, and personally, I just feel burned at this point. So I'll leave it at that, and I think we're ready for a vote. So go ahead and place your votes. Councilmember Zorns, did you vote? Did you vote in the affirmative or negative? Okay, let's restart it. Go ahead, place your vote. Passes 5-2 with Councilmember McNeil and Councilmember McAuliffe in the negative. That's it. So is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Moved by Councilmember McNeil, seconded by Councilmember McAuliffe. Go ahead and place your vote, unless you want to discuss it. No? Go ahead and place your vote. Passes 6-1 with Councilmember Agnew in the negative. We are adjourned.